Hi, I'm Linn and this is the Darbin Orvar channel, and normally I do DIY projects, woodworking, that kind of thing. However, lately I've been really getting into solar power and batteries and the idea of becoming more energy independent. And that has kind of led me down the road that what would really be a neat addition to this whole lifestyle is an electric car. So this video is going to be all about how and why we bought a used Nissan Leaf online. Two cars right there. So got a truck, keeping that, and got a Jeep. So this car right here is what we use primarily for grocery runs, errands, like short trips, that kind of thing. I do like you. We drove across the country in this guy. However, now we live in the country, we work from home, we take short trips. So you may think that, hey, you're crazy, you're trading in a Jeep with much better range for something that you can't go nearly as far in, and that's true. But we don't really need it. It's not necessary in the way we live anymore. Plus, since we're keeping the truck, if we did need to go somewhere further, we could always use that. But to be honest, we probably wouldn't have thought about this electric car concept too much if it wasn't for the solar panels. So this is the workshop, and you can see that there are 6 solar panels on the side of the house there. And we have more solar panels that we want to put up too, and batteries and inverters and stuff like that inside. Now, a lot of people, when they are getting an electric car, I mean, they're mostly concerned with plugging it in. Electricity is cheaper than gas, especially these days, and that's fine, but I really want to utilize the sun to power this car. I want it to be free to drive it, so that you take it out for a trip and then you plug it in. So what we were looking for was an electric car, duh. Something relatively cheap, like yet reliable. Don't necessarily need a long range, like in terms of miles. Of course, I wanted to be able to cover this kind of 60-mile-ish, 55, 60 miles that we do take frequently. But other than that, yeah, it doesn't have to be able to go much further than that. And that opens up a lot of doors, because if you are concerned about range and you want to be able to, drive long distances, the prices go up a lot. And when you are okay with a smaller range, you can look at older models, right? The batteries don't have to be that new. Also looking for something just kind of fun. So after doing the research, the Nissan Leaf fit all those requirements pretty well. There's a lot of them around, not locally, however, but in general, they produced a lot of them, has a good track record, people like them, and they are relatively affordable, especially if you go for an older model. So we started looking around, and yeah, it turns out that they are not available around here locally. So we turned online. We went to Carvana, primarily because they were giving us a pretty good trade-in value on the Jeep, and also they had a lot of Leafs available. When you're looking at a car from Carvana or something like that, you're not going to be able to test drive it beforehand. But that doesn't mean that you can't go to a dealership beforehand and just test out that type of car to get a sense if you like it at all. So I'm at the car dealership. This one right here. No exhaust. This is a brand new one. Yeah, I like it. I think it's quite nice. It's quite spacious in here. And what do you think? You like it, August? Yeah. So after looking at that, I'm sold. I think it's great. So on the road back, started looking at the app a little more seriously and started tracking possible options. Okay, so we just bought a Nissan Leaf through Carvana. So we've been looking around for a while, and they seem to go so quickly. Like they go on and right away they're gone. So there seems to be a pretty high demand for them. And we've been looking at different models and different years, not different models, but different years and different mileages and all of that. And then one came up now, and it looked good, kind of what we were looking for, so we got it. Now, Carvana, I mean, they're not sponsoring this or anything. I'm going to share how this turns out. The guy is coming today. He's coming today to take the Jeep and to bring the Nissan Leaf. So we'll see how it goes. I'm glad we went to the dealership and got a feel for it beforehand, so at least we knew what the situation was. So you're not stepping into a car you've never sat into. Even though it's this, a newer model, the interior should be relatively similar. Buying an electric car is not quite like buying a gas-powered car in the sense that there's a battery to take into account. I mean, in many ways, it is a lot better than buying a gas-powered car, because there are less parts inside of it that can go wrong. You don't need to do an oil change. There is no transmission. It's very different. But the one thing that you do want to make sure is in good health is the battery. You don't want to make sure that the previous owner has done a good job charging this unit up, that they haven't been doing like quick charges a lot, that they have been charging it up slowly, and that they haven't been draining the battery all the way down constantly. And there's a couple of ways that you can figure that out. A new battery in this car has like 12 little points to it, and then as the battery life goes down, like the points go down. So you can kind of see on the picture that they show, and this one that we got has 11 bars out of 12, so pretty good from a 2015 car. But other than that, you can't really tell. So what we've done is bought a little dongle thing. Now this is something you plug into the car. When it gets here, you have an app on your phone and give you the precise information, like how many charges has it had, what type of charges has it had. Now when the guy comes here later, he's going to take our Jeep for a test drive, and we're going to take the Nissan Leaf for a test drive too. So we both want to make sure that the cars are as advertised, and that's when we're going to plug in this little dongle and make sure that the health of the battery is pretty good. Now after that, if we say, oh yeah, okay, looks good, let's accept it, let's sign the paper, then once he leaves, we have 7 days to decide for sure whether or not we want to keep it. And if during those 7 days we realize this is not for us, we can actually return it. They will come and pick it up, no charge or anything. And I think you can do that up to 3 times with different vehicles, something like that. So anyway, so it's not like, oh, we did this, you're stuck with it if you hate it. I don't think I'm gonna hate it, but you never know. So it's just something to keep in mind. The guy is here, he's unloading it, and he's gonna pull it back up here.
This when we get, you know.
So we just checked it with the dongle, and the battery life is like 81%, so that's pretty good, like acceptable. And it had a pretty low amount of quick charges too, which is also is really great. Okay, now the guy is taking our car for a little test drive too. So far I don't think this could have been more efficient. No. He just pulled it right up there. And yeah, now okay, now Matt's coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta hit the
Actually getting it in here. Everybody got their seatbelts on?
Yeah.
Aug, isn't it cool?
Yes.
It's so cool, isn't it?
So this is mode.
We just took it for the first drive, and it is great. Yeah, I want to like get to know it much better, all the little things. Yesterday the car came. It's been charging up all night. We've already taken it for 3 drives. I know, the zero emission is cool. Yeah.
I go like this.
I'm just thinking, okay, if you went camping, is it enough for me to sleep? If you built the platform, I'm just talking about the length.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, my head.
Look at me.
Okay, so it's beeping right now because it's charging and I have the door open and stuff. It's like I'm just getting used to everything, or not used to everything, but I'm trying to figure everything out because there's a lot of information here that you can see, the status. So we're currently charging, we're at 75% right now. We had it plugged in all night. It was like 90% when we woke up this morning. This is a 120 volt charger. That's one of the things that I want to work on next, is making outdoor chargers or outdoor plugs. One 240 and one 120. So I'm going to be doing that. And if I had a 240 plug, it would go faster. So anyway, woke up this morning, it was like 90%, just because we wanted to go out and drive and got breakfast out and brought back. And now we're charging up again. So right now it's at 75%. So right here under here, that's where the dongle is, which enables us to see more information on the app. Okay, so you can see here, average 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's pretty good. Of course, that's going to depend completely how you drive. This is the Leaf Spy Pro app, and now I can see information about this vehicle on here. So 178 GIDs, and here you can see how much is coming in right this second. So we have 1 kilowatt hour, more or less. It fluctuates quite a bit. 1 kilowatt hour gives us 4 miles of range. So if this was charging for an hour, it would give us an additional 4 miles. This is interesting right here. All in all, this car has only had 34 quick charges and 2,100 level 1 and level 2 charges. That's really good. So the odometer says 45,000. I'm sure the novelty will wear off, and I'm not doing a review of a 7-year-old car, but I've never driven an electric car before, and it's so much fun right now, just checking everything. One of the fun things about this is the idea of saving money on gas, right? Before this, when I've been driving around the Jeep, I mean, you're constantly thinking, oh wow, it cost us $5 to go get groceries or something like this, just in gas, you know? So I was calculating before, like so far, how much have we saved from yesterday? The range on this Leaf here is about 70 miles from our experiments right now, and of course that depends on driving conditions, but like how the temperature is, if it's really hot or if it's really cold, if you need to use the heater or the air conditioner, you're going to get less range if it's really like up and down, really hilly. So you know, that's not a solid number, but 70 miles if everything is good. In the Jeep, we were getting about 20 miles to the gallon if you were careful and in like really good driving conditions. So if we're getting 20 miles to the gallon, 70 miles would need about 3.5 gallons of gas. Currently, the gas prices around here are around $4 a gallon, so that would be $14. Like a full charge of driving this 70 miles. The equivalent in the Jeep would have been $14. To fill this up, basically you need 14 kilowatt hours. Our electricity costs right now are about 9 cents per kilowatt hour. This is going to vary depending on your area and your time of day, but basically to charge this up, like this, the full thing, it costs about $1.26 right now. So it would have cost $14 in gas, cost $1.26 in electricity. So saving about $12.74 at each full charge as of right now. So that's pretty cool, and that's going to add up really fast. If we're using the solar to charge that, it's not going to cost anything. It's going to be free, which is really the ideal situation, right? Now we've had like this 1 week to decide whether or not we want to keep it. And yeah, we want to keep it. We love this thing. It's been so much fun. So now we have the car, and doing a bunch of tests and driving. It's interesting. It's like a game in a way. It's much more interactive than when you're driving a gasoline car. It's much more like, okay, how many miles, like how efficiently am I driving right now? How much battery life do I have? How much can I get when I'm charging it? Should I go look for a charging station? What kind of charging station? How quickly should I leave it? It's like a constant kind of numbers game you're playing in your head, which is really fun. The car is currently on, but you can't hear it. It's like there's no sound, right? I think if anything, what this is gonna make us do is drive more, not less, because you know, it's like you're driving for free in a way, so it doesn't feel like such a big deal to run out and do an errand real quick, or you know, take a drive just for the fun of it. You're not like wasting the gas. It feels like a toy. It really does. It says we have 63 miles left on this 84% charge. See, now I just take my foot off the gas or the accelerator, and it stops. It's so weird. It's just something to get used to, if anything. Now to shut it off, you just need to put it in park, because I'm gonna run out and get it. So you just hit park. 84%. Okay,